Right, so you're looking at some new surveillance video that's out in the case involving the actor Jonathan Majors. Their jury deliberations are now underway in this domestic assault trial, where in the video here, you saw that, you see him running down the street there. The Majors at first was grabbing and then shoving his then girlfriend Grace Jabari out of the car they were in. Then the two of them started running around in Manhattan. This is the part right here. He's grabbing her. They slowed it down, and then they both get out, and they're running around, and now he's facing these domestic assault charges. Again, the jury just started deliberating here a short time ago. Let's bring in legal analyst, Columbia University lecturer, Dr. Laura McNeal on this. So, Dr. Laura, we've been covering this. We've been watching it. This is the new wrinkle that became public, the surveillance video, and now the jury begins deliberating. Bring us up to speed on where you think this case against a fairly prominent actor stands right now.
I have to be honest, before this surveillance video came out, I would have said definitely a not guilty. But the one thing that's important about these charges, they're assault and aggravated harassment. And so when you think of assault, it's imminent apprehension of harmful or offensive contact. Now, what we saw in that video, yes, it's offensive and harmful to be grabbed and shoved to the level of aggression that we saw that Jonathan Majors was doing in that video. And so I think this video is definitely going to be very beneficial for the plaintiff in this particular case. And I think the jury, really, they're just going to have to decide, who do they believe? Who was the aggressor in this situation? And it's kind of a toss-up, but I think this video just may tip the scales, as we say, of justice. All
right, so the background on this, he's facing now 2 counts of misdemeanor assault, 2 counts misdemeanor harassment, and could face up to a year in jail. If you look at the video there, you're saying you didn't think there was a guilty verdict to be had until you saw that. So it's him and then his girlfriend, Grace, and they're out on the town, and they're in this car, and it's an SUV, obviously, and then supposedly she sees a text she doesn't like or whatever it was, tries to grab his phone, they get into it. But the video we see, it looked like from the video, you have to zoom in on it, but there's obviously some pushing back and forth. What in particular changed your mind about the way you saw the case after you watched the video?
For me, it was the way that he pushed off the aggression in terms of shoving her back into the car. Because at first it looks like it's a tug of war, right? They're going back and forth. But the level of aggression, but you have to keep in mind, the defense is saying that he was trying to get away from her and she was trying to hold him into the vehicle. And so, to be honest, it's really difficult to tell. As you said, that video, I tried to blow it up several times. The jurors are trying to blow up that video several times. The one thing that might get a not guilty verdict is the burden of proof here. Reasonable doubt is a very high standard. It can't be he probably did it. It has to be beyond reasonable doubt he assaulted her. And so that is what will be very difficult for the prosecution, I think, is that the standard is just very, very high.
I guess that's what I'm trying to figure out from that last part, because when you're zoomed in like that, you can't see it as clearly. When you're further out, obviously, it's a clearer surveillance video. And then some of the other, to your point, videos that we see, it's tough to read into, because then it's him running away and her running after, and you don't really know. You don't hear any conversation. You don't really know. And then defense comes up. Of course, he's got high-powered lawyers. They're going to say, oh, she's lying. She's lying. What about the defense and all of this? Do you think they did a good job in terms of how they handled the charges, or?
I think they did a great job. I mean, the number one thing they did correctly was making sure that Jonathan Majors did not testify. The prosecution would have eaten him alive simply from his text messages, acknowledging that he has a temper. They would have been able to paint him as an aggressive domestic violence attacker. And so I think the defense did a good job not having him testify, as well as having the driver's testimony, I think, was very powerful. That was the only eyewitness, essentially outside of those two, about what really happened in that vehicle.
By the way, there was the text that came out, I believe, that showed there was some of this going on before, where there was a text message. She went to the hospital after another alleged altercation. So that could play into this, right, in establishing a pattern, or?
It's difficult because the judges, there's a lot of debate amongst me and my legal friends. We call those prior bad acts, if that should have even been allowed into evidence. If he does get a guilty conviction, I think they're going to try to appeal to challenge that. But yes, a prior bad act to show a kind of a pattern and practice of this aggressive behavior. But as far as the assault, that solely is going to that March 25th incident.
Right.
And so the harassment, though, that would help out with the harassment charges.
All right. Dr. Laura, good to see you. So, again, Jonathan Majors, certainly his career's been impacted. I know he's been dropped from some projects in the acting world that he had on tap, but we'll see how this goes in the courtroom. The jury's now deliberating. We'll be right back with more here at NewsNation Now. Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.